Glazer from Glazer and Sachs PAs, board certified by the Florida Bar in Condominium and Plan Development Law, with attorneys in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando. And we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails about the issues that make life in your condo or HOA absolutely crazy from 1 minute to the next. And we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails, and also on our YouTube channel. Go to Condo Craze and HOAs on YouTube. You can also stream it there on YouTube, or call VJ 877-850-8585, 877-850-8585 to ask your question live on the air.
Hey, and if you're a fan of the show, again, don't forget 2 things like Karen tells you. Number 1, subscribe to the Condo Craze and HOAs channel on YouTube, because by doing so, you don't just get to watch us live. You can watch any of our previous shows. By the way, we're now on Spotify.
Yes.
We're on Apple, so we're officially a podcast. If you miss any of our shows, you can watch it on Apple or Spotify. And of course, join our email list at condocrazeandhoas.com. By doing so, you're going to get announcements about this show. You're going to get announcements about our seminars, changes in the law, and a lot more. By the way, everybody's bugging me to do an online seminar.
Yes.
So I think that's coming sometime in the month of August. Everybody hang in. I'm going to send out information about that this week. And of course, we do a blog every single Monday morning at hoa-condoblog.com. Tomorrow's topic: new law makes it clear that the association must make repairs no matter what.
Ooh.
Yeah, that topic is very interesting, because what about if there's language in your governing documents that say, well, the association can't make repairs because if it exceeds a certain amount, the unit owners get to vote, right? Or if the association needs to borrow money and the documents say, well, they can't borrow money without a unit owner vote, what about then? Can they still make the repairs? Must they make the repairs? Tomorrow's blog addresses all of that.
They shall.
Yeah, they shall make the repairs.
Yeah.
Correct.
Not
correct.
may.
That's exactly right.
So interesting. So last week we made it clear that Florida's insurance market is just out of control, bananas, and it's going to be like that for some time until the new laws that were just passed, I guess in the special session, kick in.
Yes.
But
yes.
people, these companies are leaving droit de gauche, and it's really bad.
Yeah, and we made it clear, Karen, that it's not necessarily the weather that's making insurance rates spiral out of control. It's lawyers, I hate to say. It's lawyers who continue to file lawsuits against these insurance companies without a stop.
Yeah, and with the fraud, too. There's fraud, and then there's a lot of frivolous lawsuits.
Objection.
Oh.
Objection.
The crime fraud exception for you. So when you receive an email from one, you got it from our listeners, and he has a solution, I think, to this insurance problem.
Yeah, and I sure did, Karen. And before we say who it is that sent the email and what they suggest we do, I want to tell our listeners, grab a pen and pencil right now, because you're going to definitely want to take down some really important information. We're really going to try to do a grassroots effort on this show to do something about the crazy insurance rates. But let's do a little teaching first. So when insurance companies get a lot of insurance policies that they're covering, right? Storm policies. And that's a tremendous risk for them.
Right.
Should a storm strike.
Right.
But they can lessen their risk by purchasing insurance themselves, right?
Oh.
And that's called reinsurance. They purchase it from another company. So if they get crushed by a lot of claims, they put in their own claim with their reinsurance carrier.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. So in addition, at this very moment, Florida has at this very moment a catastrophic fund, or catastrophe fund.
Yeah.
So commonly known as a CAT fund with $17 billion in it, right?
Right, exactly. So now you know,
it's
right?
It's a safety net.
Yeah, exactly. So now you know insurance companies need to purchase reinsurance.
Who's going to provide that?
Well, that's where we're getting, right? That insurance companies need to purchase reinsurance, and you know that the state of Florida is sitting on a $17 billion catastrophe fund, okay? So now that you know that, here's the email, and again, grab a pen and paper, and I'll read it to you. Eric, I'm a licensed CAM, and I'm on the board of the Space Coast Community Association. Our website is scca-online.org. All right, I'll say it again. scca-online.org. We recently had Lisa Miller, a former deputy insurance commissioner, speak at our monthly meeting. she had valuable information for condo boards and unit owners about insurance issues in Florida. She told us there are 3 reasons insurance premiums are too high. Number 1, of course, the weather, but we can't do anything about that. Number 2, litigation, right, which we've been speaking about the last 2 weeks, and the legislators have now addressed, right? And number 3, this problem, which again is the need of the insurance companies to purchase reinsurance should a storm hit so they don't get killed. And now she's saying that that's going to be addressed by the legislators in January. So here she's saying, here's the plan B that you said on last week's show we need to address: insurance reform. She's asking all of us collectively and as board members, CAMs, and unit owners to contact Governor DeSantis' office. Here's the number to the governor's office: 850-717-9337. Again, Governor DeSantis' office, 850-717-9337. And they're suggesting to ask the governor to allow the monies from the $17 billion cat fund that we have just sitting there right now to be used to purchase reinsurance. You give it to some of the insurance companies to purchase reinsurance. And again, according to Lisa Miller, former deputy insurance commissioner, this should dramatically lower the cost of insurance in the state. Right. I mean, we're hoping for that.
So this $17 billion cat fund, so you're telling me that's just sitting there in a bank? It's not part of our budget that we have a surplus in the budget.
Yeah, again, this is an email that I received, again, and I'll finish it, but it's an email that I received saying that someone from the insurance commissioner's office actually said we have $17 billion sitting in there, okay?
Huh.
So if you give it to the insurance companies or even lend it to the insurance companies so they can purchase reinsurance, that should drive our rates down dramatically. She's also saying this will bring our rates down substantially. Contact also the office of CFO Jimmy Petronis and your state legislators, okay? This is what you want to do. And she says our board president, Roger, passed away in June, fought with Lisa to get this change to happen. Like Karen says in your show, half of the people in Florida live in a condo or HOA. So if we call, we can make a difference. We need this cat fund reform. Just wanted to see if you would address this on your show and tell your listening audience to make the call and make a difference. Thank you for what you do. Love your show. Joanne Miller, Cocoa Beach. That's a great email from Joanne.
They listen, Eric.
Yeah, they do.
Oh my God, I love that. I'm going to research this $17 billion cat fund because that is so interesting.
Yeah, it is. So, maybe there is something we can do to bring insurance rates down.
Yeah, it's refreshing to think that there may be a solution.
Exactly. Instead of sitting here and just taking it. Right?
Joanne Miller of Cocoa Beach to figure it out.
Yeah, great email that I received from our office. Put pressure on the governor's office and the CFO office to use some of the $17 billion cat fund to allow, again, insurance companies to purchase reinsurance so that they don't have to pay for it. But the lawyer in me says, of course, I want a guarantee from the insurance companies first that if I'm giving them the access to the $17 billion, I want to see exactly, well, if we give it to you, tell me exactly how you bring insurance rates down.
Yeah, because if there's a major storm and Florida needs to help residents, they have the money immediately.
Yeah, and
now you're adding a different tier of...
I'm not saying give them access to the $17 billion either. Maybe we give them access to $2 or $3 billion and let's see if it brings down rates. And if it does, wonderful.
Or what about you just say, look, if we get inundated, there's a provision to go directly to the cat fund rather than a reinsurance company.
Maybe. Rather than, I understand, use the cat fund to bail out the insurance companies.
I can't handle it anymore, so I need you to go to the cat fund.
That might be another way. That's smart thinking.
Just cut out the middle one.
But we definitely want assurance from them, not insurance. We want assurance from them, right?
Yeah.
That if we give them access to this money, okay, tell me specifically how you're going to bring down rates.
I just have to make sure that this $17 billion cat fund exists, and where is this money?
Exactly. Again, the number that they want you to call, 850-717-9337. Again, 850-717-9337. I want to thank Joanne Miller for her email and kind words about the show and the Space Coast Communities Association. Like we said last week, doing nothing about insurance is really not an option at this point. I can tell you, Karen, I met with several communities this week who are simply going bananas. They're freaking out about the rise in insurance.
Oh, yeah.
And it's making it impossible to continue to live in their condominium.
Yeah.
Actually, I even met with an HOA where it was making it impossible for an HOA to live in their community, the people in an HOA.
Well, we're already to the point where it's becoming catastrophic for these people to pay for insurance as more and more insurance companies like Farmers and AAA.
Farmers left 100,000 policies.
Boom, and they went to Citizens. So Citizens should have a stopgap to go directly to this cat fund if it's possible.
Maybe, right? That might be a way to go.
They're the insurer of last resort. They should be able to have that's reinsurance from the cat fund.
Something, right?
I never knew about reinsurance. I knew, Benjamin Franklin invented insurance, but did he invent reinsurance?
I don't know. I don't know. If anybody knows, let us know. We'd like to know what our listeners think. Taking your calls on anything and everything you want to talk about in the condo and HOA world. Call us in the studio, 877-8587.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
Oh no, an unexpected leak. Jay, you know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
Rimkus Consultants offer the professional expertise to help condominium and cooperative communities provide safe, compliant buildings for their tenants. We have more than 170 Florida licensed engineers and architects who are experienced with local regulations and can assist with Senate Bill 4D compliance. We can help with milestone structural inspections, capital expenditure evaluations, structural integrity reserve studies, and developer transition reports. Focusing on energy, resilience, maintainability, and sustainability, our experts can help with every phase of the building life cycle. For mitigation after a catastrophic event, building restoration, repair and remediation consulting, or Senate Bill 4D inspections, please visit rimkus.com.
Karen, you're on in 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. Give us a call, 877-850-8585, or join us on our YouTube channel, Condo Craze and HOAs. You can listen there, stream live, and also also ask a question in the chat box. We're talking about insurance problems again in Florida, but the idea of reinsurance that would support the insurance company. If they get into a bind, then they could be insured. And there's like this, $17 billion cat fund. It's a catastrophic insurance fund that the state is sitting on.
Thanks to Joanne for letting us know
Yeah,
what's really going
from
on.
Cocoa
Much appreciated.
Beach.
Hey, let's take some questions from the chat box. Kathy writes in, Eric, is there ever where the board alone has to have a unanimous vote at a meeting in order to pass, such as making new rules? And the answer to that question, Kathy, is it depends what your own documents say. Sometimes, yes, it's required in the governing documents that the board has to act unanimously on something. Very, very rare. Very rare, but there's nothing in the statutes, there's nothing in the Florida statutes, condo statutes, or HOA statutes, which says the board has to be unanimous about anything. So only if your documents require it, okay? You only need a majority of a quorum when a board takes a vote, usually. All right, let's see. George writes in, usually the DBPR has no authority over HOAs. Are there any issues an HOA directly to, not arbitration, not mediation, but directly to the DBPR? Elections, assessments.
Can I answer it?
Yeah, you know the answer to that one.
No.
No, right. They will not investigate anything. But if you do have an election or recall case, meaning an arbitration case, then yes, the DBPR does have jurisdiction over that.
Oh.
Election and recall.
Even though HOAs don't pay them anything?
That's correct. That's correct. Wait, okay.
That's so
great.
strange.
No, great, Karen. But they won't have to wind up paying for that case. At the end of that case, they get a bill.
Of course. You always have
Very interesting that you said that, but because
they don't pay
have
them
to
anything.
Pay. So how do they pay? Yes, at the end of the case, they get a bill from the DBPR.
Right.
That's very good. It's very good thinking.
Oh, well.
Marie writes in, not crazy about the pride colors craze, should be red, white, and blue. And this is how screwed up people are today.
How long have you had that sign?
Only 15 years, right? That's up there 15 years.
And that's
but
not
someone
a rainbow
has
because it goes
the
red.
audacity to call it pride colors. But this is how warped people think today, right? Everything they believe is an attack on them. It's an attack against the Republicans. It's an attack against the Democrats.
You were making
it's
a statement.
freaking colors.
It's not a
the
statement.
colors are there for 15 years. It's not a statement either way about anybody. But the inability of people to just say it's colors. No. It's specific colors. It's meant to come out with a specific action that you're trying to promote. You're sick.
Yeah, it's even on the van.
Get a freaking life is all I can tell you. That's how I feel about it. Loosen up, relax, okay? All right, let's. No, really, you don't know. It's destroying our.
It is. It's
culture.
Yeah.
People can't get along anymore, right?
Yeah.
Everybody takes things, to the umpth degree. And it's a terrible example for our children as well.
Sometimes we're just doing something to be creative and passionate.
It's
and
a
it has no
freaking
message.
sign
Yeah,
that's been there for 15 years. And no, I'm not changing it for you.
It's not even a rainbow, though, quite technically. So.
God. Okay, deep breath.
Deep breath.
Now, let's take our first call of the day, VJ. Who do we got?
First up, Barry, Miami.
Gary
Barry.
in Miami.
No, Barry.
Oh, Barry in Miami.
Barry, yeah.
How are you, Barry? You better not say a word about the damn. What's going on?
You do take pride in the sign.
The proposed structural engineering study is due December 31st, 2024.
Yep.
And the unit owners elect to waive reserves before that date for the 2025 year. When is the next structural integrity reserve study due?
That's a great question. So I think as long as they do it by December 31st, 2024, they're good. And I think the next time they have to do it, according to the statute, they got to do it every 10 years. So I guess my answer would be December 31st, 2034. And they can, even though they did the reserve study, December 31st, 2024, they can get to waive reserves the way I'm reading the statute for one more year. and then the 2026 budget comes in, that's it. You got to use that structural integrity reserve study that you've taken within the last 10 years to 100% fully reserve but your reserves, for the structural integrity reserves. That's how I see it, Barry.
Okay, I think the next structural integrity reserve study has to be done in 2025 for the 2026 year if you use pooled reserves.
Well,
I don't think you can wait until another 10 years. I think you have to do it the very next year.
Really, but that's a tremendous fiscal burden on the association to have to do a structural integrity reserve study back-to-back years.
And I'm talking to you while I'm trying on T-shirts at Sawgrass.
Right.
But the reason why I think it has to be done the very next year is because those waived reserves, let's suppose I had $400,000 of reserve that I waived, of SERS reserve that I waived for the 2025 year. Those reserves, if you're on the pooled method, you have to catch up.
Yeah.
And the only way you can know what to catch up, you have to catch up that amount in future years.
Right.
And if you don't have a reserve study done for 10 more years, you have no idea what that $500,000 amount, where that goes, and there's interest on the $500,000.
Yeah.
And what the reserve specialist has to do, and I've talked to what I think are the best reserve specialists in the state.
Yeah.
They say you have to get rid of the 2025 year on your reserve study. And the only way to get rid of that year is to have a new reserve study done in 2025.
To start in 2026 is what you're saying.
Year.
Interesting.
And then you start your funding from 2026.
So
the remainder of your.
I hear you. So to make it simple for our listeners,
you're not making,
yeah.
You have to do it here.
Okay, so to make it simple for the listeners, you're saying, okay, if everybody has the ability to waive reserves up until 2026, then you got to do a reserve study in 2025 to start with the 2026 year, because that's the only way it would make sense. And you know what, Barry? What you just said.
That's the only way you can catch up.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense. And you know what would have been great? If the freaking statute would have clarified all this. But we do know. I think it's clear that we both agree that starting in 2026, the structural integrity reserve study has to be funded in full. And wow, Florida's going to become. I think we can both agree Florida's going to become a different place starting in 2026. I mean, the amount of assessments that people are going to be paying in our condominiums starting in 2026 are going to be huge.
Are you saying sell now?
What I'm saying is, starting in 2026, especially if your building hasn't fixed things in a long time, your assessments are going up astronomically.
And your insurance. So, I mean, there's just no way.
So Florida is going to be a different place. And I got to tell you,
it's cheaper to rent.
Yeah, that might be, right. But your landlord's going to be paying a lot, so he can't have, cheap rent.
Right.
So, it's going to be a different place starting in 2026. What do we have? We have, another 2 years of, maybe dashing around this. But after that...
So sell now is what you're saying?
Get ready. Barry, thank you for keeping us on our toes week after week and bringing all these things to our attention. Really, thank you so much. Who else we got, VJ?
Sure thing. Great. Bye.
We have Mike in Jupiter.
Mike in Jupiter. How are you, Mike?
Hello. How are you both?
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Been listening now for probably a year or two.
Nice.
Thank you.
I really enjoy your show.
Thank you very much.
Mine is a little personal matter with my HOA. I live in a 340-unit HOA, and our board of directors is a member of five-member.
Five-member board, okay.
Has adopted a real hard security in the community by installing, cameras and enforcing stop signs and stuff like that. They recently got a strongly advised message from the local police department that if everybody turns their lights on, we'll have less crime and break-ins.
Okay. I believe that.
So
I'm with that.
A new law, the community that everybody, 100% of the community, has to turn their lights on outside. So
that's a
the
rule
first
that they
meeting
made. Wow,
after
that's an
that,
interesting rule.
They had about 45 units that didn't comply.
Right.
So they decided to waive the penalty or fine, $100 fine for those unit owners. But now I'm on my second violation.
Is that a day?
Okay.
It's like a little bit of a civil issue with me now, civil rights issue.
Okay, so this is interesting.
Is that $100 a day?
Yeah, $100 a day for not turning it on. Now let me ask you a question. This is an HOA, not a Here's how I think I'd answer this question. Sometimes, okay, boards of directors of condos and HOAs, generally they can make reasonable rules and regulations regarding the common elements, okay? Common elements only, not your home, certainly not inside your home to turn on the lights, right? However, every once in a while, you'll find in the bylaws of the association, right? You have the Articles of Incorporation attached to that as the bylaws. Every once in a while, a board will have the additional authority to make reasonable rules unit or use of the home. How about that?
Oh.
So if use of the home is in there, I don't know if it is or it isn't, I would say, guess what? They can make you put the lights on.
So it's per violation that you're paying $100, and you don't want to turn your lights on. Is this because you feel like you shouldn't have to be made to do that?
Well, yeah, that's just it. I mean, I want to have the right to have that choice to turn it on or off.
And I hear you.
Not be penalized if it's off.
Yeah, I hear you. I get you.
Like right outside of our units,
and
that puts out a lot of light.
Yeah.
For my units, like 50 feet away, and if I turn my light on, it doesn't really make much of a difference.
I'm with you. I don't.
That light is off.
I don't think you. I don't think the board can make you do it. That's the way I feel about it. I don't think the board can make you do it unless there's something real specific in the governing documents that gives them that authority. And I would think they probably don't have it. You got to look at the governing documents. But how many units in the community?
350?
340.
340. You got to think, do they have the ability to change the governing documents to give them that authority?
It sounds like a revenue stream.
Yeah,
that's what they've done.
No, well, they just want your lights on to prevent crime. Yeah, but I'm saying,
but it's also a revenue stream.
Right, exactly. If the people don't listen, sure, the fines can be in revenue stream.
My other question is, you said they put security cameras up in an HOA. Is that a material alteration?
No, not in an HOA.
Okay.
Condo, yes. HOA, no.
All right.
They can do it. But that's my answer, Mike. Okay.
Check your.
Okay.
Or turn your lights on.
Turn your freaking lights on.
You can set them on a timer. You don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Leave them on for a few hours. Keep the community safe.
It was out and it was dark, and it's like I can enjoy the dark in the sky, but.
Honest to God, in my home, all the outdoor lights are on every night from the time it gets dark, from the time it gets.
Cessnas are circling
for
over.
For that very reason.
Well, can't you go in the backyard? You have to turn them on in the backyard too?
No, not in the backyard. Just in front of the house.
Yeah, so go look at the stars in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, I wish you luck, buddy. And thanks for saying nice words about the show. Let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break.
The future of fiber is here. QXC Communications is a fiber network engineering firm based in Boca Raton. We build fiber networks that deliver high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, HDTV, and voice services, primarily to Florida's condominium communities. QXC's AON architecture is the industry's best practice and a game changer for our customers. We run 2 dedicated fibers to each unit. No splitters, no cables. So, every resident gets uninterrupted blazing fast speed and military-grade data security. Our Wi-Fi 6 network deployment powers performance on multiple devices with no dead zones. And the QXC TV app makes everyday programming access a breeze with 3-day rewind and optional cloud DVR. QXC AON Fiber is where the industry is heading. Get connected today.
Is your condominium or HOA in need of accounting services? Look no further. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is one of South Florida's largest accounting and auditing firms, as recognized by the South Florida Business Journal, and is one of the few accounting firms uniquely specialized to provide accounting services to their growing condominium and homeowner association clientele throughout Florida. With primary offices in Aventura and Boca Raton, satellite offices in Naples and Orlando, and a professional staff of 65, Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is prepared to meet the needs of any condominium or HOA in the state. The professionals at Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg also have experience working with timeshares, cooperatives, hotel condominiums, mixed-use buildings, and ancillary operations like restaurants, spas, and country clubs. Put their 25 years experience in your corner. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg, 305-937-0116. That's 305-937-0116 or grgcpa.com.
Someday, you will need insurance. And for that day, you'll be glad you wrote down Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. Why? Because Insurco virtually insures everything. They're a full-line insurance agency that'll put together the best possible coverage and premium for almost anything. Need homeowners or condo insurance? Call Insurco. Need auto or motorcycle insurance? Call Insurco. How about golf cart insurance or trailer and RV insurance? Just call Insurco for a free quote. They're open every day. From renters insurance, officers and directors insurance, and personal liability umbrellas to all types of business insurance, boat insurance, cancer policies, life, health, and annuities. All you need is Insurco. Get a free quote. They service Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Speak English and Spanish. Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. It's the only name you need. Office at 14401 West Sunrise Boulevard in Sunrise, inside Edmore Chevrolet.
Call 954-846-1206. 954-846-1206. That's 954-846-1206.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
Let us protect your association.
Karen, you're on in 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to the final segment of Condo Craze and HOAs. We are going to blow all the way through to the end of the show, so don't wait till the last minute to call in 877-850-8585. Or if you want to see Eric and myself, you can go to our YouTube channel, Condo Craze and HOAs, and check us out there.
All right, let's take a question from Paul. Paul writes in and says, board refuses to have meetings on site like before COVID. They're only on Zoom. Many owners don't want or don't know how to use Zoom. They also refuse to speak English. Is that legal? There's a lot in that question. Okay, a lot in that question.
They refuse to speak English.
Yeah, so let's talk about...
What, is he in Miami?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So I actually had some personal experience with this. But I wrote an article about this that basically says, believe it or not, you can have Zoom meetings, right? Only Zoom meetings, except for the annual meeting, okay? Take a look at one of my blogs, just research it, and you'll see why I did an analysis. And it has to do with Florida Statute 617 as well, because it allows participation by electronic means like that. But when it conflicts with the condo statute applies. So I think there's a provision, when you read the annual meeting statute, it's clear that that meeting has to be in person.
Wait a minute, so where do they find your blog?
They can find the blog at hoa-condoblog.com.
And secondly, can the people, the residents, Zoom the meeting?
Yes, if they should be obviously giving the...
you can record it.
Yes, they should be giving the residents the opportunity to attend that meeting by Zoom, not just the board members.
But can the residents Zoom the meeting?
What do you mean by Zoom?
Like have their own Zoom with people that are, on their computer. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the board should put up a notice. This is our Zoom site, right?
Okay.
This is our code. This is how you log on, and everybody should have the opportunity to log on.
I guess can the residents TikTok the meeting?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Can they put up? There's so many fights about that.
Oh.
Like every time there's a fight,
Right.
someone will put it on. And the answer to that is there's nothing in the law that I know of that prevents them from doing that. And this comes up all the time. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. These are fights about this all the time. Take down what you put up on YouTube about the board meeting because, you can't put that up there. It's a private board meeting. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then the next part of the question is really interesting. They refuse to speak English. Is that legal?
It says French sometimes. They're
is at a meeting in Sunny Isles where the entire board meeting was conducted in French.
Yep.
I'm like, this is crazy.
the Frontenac does.
Yeah,
I lived there.
And some people were complaining about it. So, no, I don't think it's legal to do that. And I'll tell you, not many people know this, but Florida passed a constitutional amendment several years ago that says the official language of Florida is English. A lot of people don't know this.
I did not know
the
that.
official language of Florida is English.
So that's a constitutional amendment. That means we voted on it.
Right, and voted on it. And a lot of people can say, oh, that's terrible for you to say that or something like that. No, we voted on it.
So the
it's
board
part
has
of our
to.
Constitution right now. So I think based upon that alone, a person would have the right to go into court and say, the official language of Florida is English. They're speaking at our board meeting in a foreign language. I don't understand it. A judge has never ruled on it that I know. But what do I think? If someone brought it to a court, would they win? Absolutely.
Yeah, because of the law.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
amendment.
Yeah, I completely think
That's
that
so
they would
interesting.
win.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no two ways about it. All right, who else we got, VJ?
We have Glenn in Vero Beach.
In Vero. Gillian, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Question I have is regarding the changes to the 720-304 statute this year on the flag issues and specifically the stores, the visibility of stores.
That's I wrote something about that. There's so much going on. I can't remember everything, but basically, basically,
and we're going to hold you to it.
Right. Basically, what does it say? It's a brand new statute. So, HOAs like to tell people, get that stuff out of your backyard. You're not allowed to have a swing set or storage facility or a shed or whatever it may be. But correct me if I'm wrong, basically what the statute now says is that if you have something that's not visible while you're standing on the common elements, it's their backyard. They get to keep it.
Oh.
Right?
That's what I understood. Now I'm trying to figure out, is it basically, would that pertain to garbage cans?
I think it applies to everything.
That's an HOA?
Yeah, in an HOA, you know, again,
Condo, not
it's
so much.
designed to prevent, you know, fights. Get this out of your backyard. Well, what do you care if nobody can see it? That's what the statute was designed to protect. So big deal. If it's a garbage can, I say no problem.
Because your neighbor has
a shed, no problem. Now, by the way, do you know, for sheds, if it's a you know, decent sized shed, believe it or not, you may have to call and get a permit for it.
A she shed.
Yeah, they would at the shed, but that's. I was just looking at the
Probably
garbage can part of it because of we've had people that want to leave their garbage cans on the side of their house, and we've been talking about they need to have it not visible from the front or the next door neighbor.
Correct,
we were
correct.
trying
As
to
long
say.
as it's not, as long as it's not visible while someone else is standing on the common elements, viewable from the common elements, they have to see it from if they walk off their property, you can see it from their common elements. Then I think that the person would have a problem.
Unless they have a drone.
Yeah, right.
And they're looking in your
Yeah,
windows.
right. So there you go. But that's
Well,
a
that's fine. Thank you
very
very much.
interesting
I
new
appreciate it.
statute. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing it to everybody's attention. All right, who else we got, VJ?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Bob in Margate.
Bob, how are you?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay. I have two. I've been president here for over 5 years now. Nobody else wants to do it.
Thank you for your service.
I would like to raise our quarterly maintenance fees. I read an article recently in a magazine about condos. You can only raise them so much, a percentage.
No.
Is that also for HOAs? You can only raise them a certain percent.
Man, are these questions going to come up, you know, from now until the next 2-3 years? Can we only raise them a certain percent? And the answer is absolutely not. Here's the bottom line.
That's scary, though.
Yeah, when you get on the board to be a board, here's your job. You're going to pass a budget, right? You're going to figure out what that budget is, and whatever that budget is, that's what you're going to charge the unit owners.
But it seems like it should have a cap. Everything has a cap. Damages have a cap.
Look, let's say, for example, the freaking insurance tripled this year, right? You're going to do your budget, right? And the insurance tripled. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but as a resident, I need a cap.
No, yeah. You,
I can't.
Bottom line is the board's job.
Yeah.
We've had raises in our pool.
Yeah.
Maintenance, everything.
It's out of hand.
Yeah, but the board's job. The board has a job that they must pass a budget to pay all the bills. That's their job as a board member. If you're not passing a budget that does that, then get off the board.
Yeah, but they didn't foresee insurance going up,
Right.
and they didn't foresee Surfside falling down, and then so now it's all out. It's out the
Absolutely.
window.
Now it's tougher to be a board member. Now it's tough. Now
It's
it's
tougher to
really
be an
tough to
owner.
be a board. Now, especially when 2026 comes around and you have to pass a budget with this structural integrity reserve study in the budget. I mean, it's going to be, crazy figures for some people, but if there's a cap in your documents, no, that cap doesn't mean a thing to me.
Really?
Yeah, that cap doesn't mean a thing. Your job is to pass a budget that pays the bills, and if you can't do that as a board member, you can't be a board member. That's the
Wow.
bottom line. Yeah, it can't be both ways. I think those, and we had to talk about that. Well, all the attorneys who are board certified, we have an amazing group of attorneys, like 150 of us that are involved in this chat session, basically. And this topic came up, and I think we basically all agreed it's impossible. It's impossible for that language in your governing documents to apply when we have all these issues that are coming up to keep your property insured, to keep your property safe.
But what's superseding it? Law?
Well,
law?
there is a law now that says you
usually-
must keep the property safe.
But if
So,
you don't have Kaufman language, it doesn't apply.
Great question, but I think you always had an obligation to, to keep the property safe. Karen, you're right. You know what? Leave me alone. You're right. you're right. You can debate this all day long, and we spoke about that, right?
Yeah.
Does Kaufman language prevent some of
Yeah,
that?
no.
But me, I always said, as a board member, the bottom line is you have to pass a budget to pay the bills. What's the alternative? Okay, we're not going to pass a budget to pay the bills. We'll only pass half. So you're going to go into default on half your bills.
Well, you can cover the insurance part of it and all this other stuff that passed since the
All right, so
Surfside
we'll let
collapse.
the pool go
Who's gonna-
uncleaned.
Yeah, but
No.
oh well.
No,
No, I'm saying with all this
Yeah.
structural integrity
Yep.
stuff, who's going to police that anyway?
Listen, that's another question.
If
but
you don't pay
it
for it,
costs X dollars to live in the association. The board has to pass a budget that pays X's bills. That's it. That's the bottom line, regardless of what the documents say. Hey, thanks for the call. Who else we got, VJ?
No. I got another one.
Oh, okay, relax.
Oh, it's a Tubi.
I said I got two questions.
Yeah. He said the first was easy.
The president before me, instead of renting the clubhouse as we used to do it for $2,500 a month, they decided before the lease runs out that she would buy it.
Okay.
Well, she put everything in the newsletter, had meetings, everything. Supposedly, we bought our clubhouse for $415,000
Right.
from an attorney, and we gave him a $75,000 deposit check. He took it, so it would put us down to $340,000, and we would be done paying the 1st of August of 25.
Okay.
Recently, I've been asking for. I found out that there was never a contract written up. There's nothing except what's in the newsletters and emails. Now, we talked to the attorney, had him here at the clubhouse. He said, I never said that. I want $600,000.
Wow.
That
Wow.
would put us not getting it paid off until 29.
Wow. What about
We
talking
had
to?
every-
Hold on.
And guess what?
Yeah.
The former president is dead. The vice president who signed the check is also dead.
Oh,
so the
God.
two people that made the deal are both gone.
And I'm sure, are there minutes
Now
of a
I'm
board
stuck
meeting?
trying to fix this.
Hold on. Are there minutes of a board meeting to talk about any of this?
Yeah, we've had board meetings. We've actually
No. Listen to my question.
Minutes.
He's wound up. The guy is wound up. I mean,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? Right? You got to listen to me. Listen to me. Are there meetings of a board meeting that talk about when you were paying the $75,000?
The minutes.
Is there a vote of the board that approves this?
Well, it's the board that approved it, yeah.
No, you're not listening to me again. Listen to my question. Are there minutes that shows this?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, great. Now, was the attorney for the association at that meeting?
No.
I would get in touch with the attorney of the association and find out if he or she knows anything about it.
What's the attorney that you're hiring? What's this other attorney? What's he doing?
Well, we have an attorney that works for us now, but I can't say it on the radio.
I know, but why are you hiring another attorney?
Yeah, I would go back to the attorney who was the attorney for the board at that time and ask him or her if they know anything about it, because I hope they would. Okay?
Right.
All right.
We're trying our best, so our attorney is actually working on it to see
Okay.
if we can get enough proof.
But your minutes of the meeting are proof.
Yeah, I wish you a lot of luck, buddy. All right? You be well.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Okay. Oh, we got Tums laying around.
I know. Have your attorney involved before you pay anyone anything. Before
would
you
think,
sign
why?
anything.
It's only 600,000 involved. Why?
I know.
You know? VJ, who else we got?
We have Valerie in St. Pete.
Valerie in St. Petersburg. Love St. Pete. How are you, Valerie?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, what's going on?
Hey, I've got a question on poll voting. I'm wondering if an HOA board can submit on an issue.
Question. And there's a provision, and it's containing that basically says board can take votes outside of meeting unanimous, right? ratified at the next meeting, right? It's got to be
Tell me.
that the statute reads, if it's a unanimous vote, basically the board can take the vote and ratify it later. Now, I never ever agreed with that statute to or HOA association because it's clear a single thing that a board does needs to be out in the open in a con. So I'm board votes taken by unanimously and then
Is that a poll vote?
Now, it's too long ago. I did some research on this, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing, in the arbitration cases that talk about it, or in or case law. So there's no answer on this. If you're asking me how I would or in charge, would be no. I'm not in specific into both statutes is to make sure that all of these things are done in the open. All of the votes of the board are done in the open. There's no case that I'm aware of. Case that I'm aware of.
Well, section by email, but
both statutes say you can't vote by email. Both vote by email, but one is a pass around vote is the common term for.
So final vote is not in.
Did not vote by email, but in the subjective, right? And do what's called the pass around, and everybody sign it. Let's say there's 5 members. Do you vote to hire Joe the landscaper, and you pass it around, and all 5 sign it at the next meeting? Email voted on a piece of paper that was always a vote, and I don't think that vote statutes. You're right. One, can you vote by email?
Even
you cannot. Anybody else?
Abigail. I might be saying her name. And
Right, Abigail?
I think she's listening to the radio.
Good show.
Turn your radio down, Abby.
Abby.
There she is.
Morning. I'm Florida, and I'm able and have many, and the building bought in single door heavy, and I mentioned to it's not right handicap, at least, and he said it, so we don't have to follow the handicap
Federal law.
I'm moving into the building, crashed into, and it's.
Where are these doors? Where are the where are these?
You want an automatic?
Need at least one automatic. And the general tells me we've been.
You know what I would do? I would ask in writing to the answer to it, and is I would call the building you live in. Okay. Build in your community and say, you know, I feel trapped in the building. I can't get out. The doors don't open for heavy. There's open the door unless someone for me, and officials, and I don't know the answer.
Federal problem?
You may be reasonable. The AD in residential act may entitle you. I don't. I'm not. I can't tell you, but I can tell you where to go. Tell them exactly. You're trapped. You can't get out.
Stuck. Then wow.
That's the best. Guys, I got that whisper.
We gotta go.
Please cut the call.
Thank
VJ
you.
in for another week. If you need legal help off the air, just call Glazer and Sachs at 954-90 again. 954-3-1112. And of course, we'll speak to you and see you again next